Hey, how's it going? Well, I'm coming to you again in my series of Gurkha reviews, and tonight I have the Gurkha Titan. Hmm, wow, that's got a very interesting aroma. There's a barnyardiness to it, but there's also like a sweet fruitiness to this. Hmm, I really like the aroma on that. Sweet fruity barnyard. You wouldn't think that would sound attractive, but that actually is very alluring. It's a very cocoa-y barnyard on the foot. Just a muted cocoa on the cold draw. The draw is probably the tightest that I have had on a Gurkha yet, but it's basically that means it's normal. It's about a normal draw. I've noticed that the Gurkhas, the ones that I've smoked at least, they tend to be a very open draw. A little bit of bitterness, spice, a little bit of a harshness actually. Um, a little leather. There's kind of like a bitter cocoa. Um, More bitter and less cocoa. It's got a much more of a harshness to it than I expected. The aroma smelled so sweet, like a fruity sweetness, that I expected this to be more of a sweet tasting tobacco. That doesn't mean it's bad, it just means it's not what I expected. It's like a dry, bitter cocoa, though. It's the aged Costa Rican wrapper. The origin is Honduras, the binder is Nicaraguan, and the filler is Colombian, Dominican, and Honduran. And according to Cigar.com, this is a medium to full strength. There's a harsh bite to it that I find a little off-putting. It's got a high note of like sort of like a biting spiciness to it, like a biting spice that's a little off-putting. Hopefully that'll dissipate a little bit as we develop. About this far in, the burn is getting a little uneven. I'm going to touch that up before it becomes a problem. Um, the spicy harshness thing is gone, but I'm a little irritated by it. It singed my tongue a little bit, and now I feel like I'm not tasting everything that I want to taste in a cigar. The very first puff I took off the cigar, it just blasted my taste buds with a harsh spice and basically made the next 10, 15 minutes, I guess I'm 15 minutes in now, made it an experience that was a little unpleasant, trying to swish water over and over again to wash that off of my tongue, and trying to taste whatever flavors are in here. At this point, the harsh spice is gone. That was really like the first 5 minutes. It was really harsh, and then it just kind of eased off. There is still a little bit of a spice in there, but that's going away. Most of what I've got here is a very muted cocoa. There's not a whole lot else to this so far. Um, it tastes, of course, like tobacco. You know, every cigar tastes like tobacco, but it tastes like tobacco with a very mild hint of cocoa and a very mild hint of spice. So that's pretty much all I've got at this point. It might be because of this cigar, and it might be because it singed my taste buds off the bat, and I'm not tasting it. So I'm a little frustrated with that. Well, I'm about this far in. The burn on this cigar has been very erratic. I've had to stay on top of it. I just wanted to show it before I fix it. It's been doing this the whole time. I am not one of those cigar smokers that will just let my cigar do whatever it's going to do. I have watched cigar review videos that make me want to rip my hair out because it's so frustrating to watch a guy sit there and literally let the cigar canoe, and then sit there and talk about how it's a bad cigar and it tastes awful. And there's really no effort involved with just giving it quick, just give it a quick blast like that. Just take care of that. It took a couple of seconds to do that. I will not let my cigar sit there and run crazy on me. Ostensibly, you've paid a lot of money for your cigar. And why would you let it do that? So, I mean, yes, it is a sign that it may have been poorly constructed, and that's part of reviewing it. But I'm not going to sit there and ruin my entire experience just to show you, oh, look, it only burned halfway down, or whatever. So, just wanted to show you that. So, at this point, there's really not any updates to give on the flavor. It's exactly the same. It's a muted cocoa, a little bit of bitterness that you could call a cocoa bitterness. You might call it a coffee bitterness, but it's very muted. All the flavors in here seem like it wants to have a flavor, but it can't somehow. I can't really explain it further than that. Occasionally, I get a little bit of a whisper of some kind of a dark fruit trying to happen, but it just can't. It can't come out. And I can't even describe it beyond that as far as what kind of fruit that I'm talking about. Just a dark, fruity note. The thinnest, smallest note possible is in there. So, other than that, I really don't have much to talk about with the flavor. It hasn't changed much. It's not a bad cigar. I would not classify this as a bad cigar. It's just, it's disappointing. I'll say that. Well, time to take the band off. I have to put this light over here so I can see. I think this is another taped band. Nope, this one is not taped. That's a little strange. It's a little strange to me that the first two Gurkhas I smoked had their band was taped, and it was very difficult to get off, and this one was not taped. So, where's the consistency on that? It's a little strange. I am starting to feel the nicotine from it. This was classified as a medium to full strength, so that makes sense. Other than that, not a whole lot to talk about. So here in the final third, the body has really picked up. It's been about a medium body the whole time. It's getting a lot fuller now, and the main element of that is a coffee. There's a coffee and a little leather. I kind of wish that had been there all along. Most of this cigar has honestly been a little bit boring. And only now towards the end, it's picking up flavor. My biggest complaint about the flavor would be that everything seems so muted. It's like it wanted to have a cocoa, but it was like such a small measure of cocoa. Every now and then it wanted to be spicy, but it wasn't. It wanted to have a little bit of a thread of some kind of fruity, and it just wasn't happening. Like every now and then I would just catch the smallest whisper of a hint of a potential of fruitiness, and it just wasn't happening. It almost makes me wish I had another one of these, in a way, so that I could smoke it, a few days from now or a week from now or something, and see if I get the same exact experience. It could be that that initial 5 minutes singed my tongue and ruined the whole rest of the cigar. That's very possible. So it started off with a frustrating tongue bite of spiciness that lasted about 5 minutes. and then that went away. It kind of gave way to a mild cocoa with just a hint of leather, just a hint of coffee. It stayed that way pretty much the whole time. Then in the final third, it picked up more of a bolder coffee flavor. Um, that's about it for the flavors. The performance, as far as the draw, it had a fine draw. The burn was not the best ever, but wasn't a problem. I just had to stay on it. I'm not going to say it's a bad cigar. It's just, I would say it's not for me. I don't prefer it. Um, would I recommend it, though, is what I've been thinking. I don't know. I'm not sure who I would recommend it to. I wouldn't recommend it to a new cigar smoker because it does have a lot of nicotine. Down towards the bottom, I am feeling the nicotine rush, so I don't know that I would recommend it for a new smoker. If it weren't for the strong nicotine, I might, because it certainly is not an overwhelming flavored cigar. You could get a good cigar smoking experience from it. I don't know that I would recommend it to an experienced cigar smoker either because I think it's a little boring. So, yeah, I'm not sure I would recommend it. Maybe. Just if somebody's curious, I might. But, yeah. So, anyway, there's my review on the Gurkha Titan. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time.